everybody who is thinking knows that water is really at the core of our being, and biologically talking, we need water. We cannot live without water. And in Iceland we have plenty of water, but we are spoiling a lot of it. And it seems to be a process that is ongoing, so in a few years we won't have any clean, fresh, free running water anymore. If it continues, it's a really bleak picture that is painted in front of us.
Yes, our government has defined Iceland as a neo-colony, not looking at it as a whole with different qualities and different ways. The purpose of Iceland should be to create energy for the world by hydroelectric power, and that's a colonialism. In modern colonialism, and the Icelandic government it's their initiative, and actually Norsk Hydro, a Norwegian company, was planning to make a much smaller but hydroelectric power plant in Iceland for an aluminium smelter, but they stepped out because they didn't want to be involved in an environmental scandal. Then our minister, one of our ministers, Finnur Ingólfsson, he ran to Alcoa and made this assignment very quickly and like begging them, please come to us, we need you to buy very cheap energy. And so when people feel like shit, you know, what it's like a prostitution or something.
Icelandic people, we have for some reason, because maybe we are isolated and we have our society, it didn't grow like in Europe, the big cities. We didn't have a big city until 50 years ago, so we were in the nature, and the nature, the Icelandic nature as I see it, is part of us.
What I realized that here in Iceland that nature does not have any defense, even though you can show that a company does some even illegal things with documents and with results. There is no apparatus in the country to actually stop them and say, hey, you know, this is wrong.
So it's going to be Alcoa who comes here with foreign workers, and they are the ones who are going to make money on this, and they are destroying Icelandic nature, and the nature in Iceland is very untouched. In the highlands of Iceland, there's not many places in Europe or anywhere in the world that is so huge, and huge areas of untouched nature. It's really not something that Iceland is going to gain much from, because they're selling the energy so cheap. It's like very cheap. It's cheaper than in Brazil.
Has been the biggest political decision Iceland has made in the last decades. And it will have so great an impact on Icelandic society, country and the nation that I felt a need to do something. And I felt I can not only do it by writing about it, I also have to go on the streets, and that's what I did. And this also coincides with my idea of philosophy. I think philosophy is not only in the ivory tower, but it is also on the streets. Socrates started philosophy on the streets.
Some artists and actors, writers started to come together every Wednesday at noon in front of the parliament. And they would read poems. They called themselves the poem group.
We had a protest walk in Reykjavik, which I was one of the organizers. And 3,000 people came to this walk. And that's historical in Iceland. It's 1% of the nation. We are only 300,000. So it's a lot of people. But it was very quiet. And if we didn't have music in the walk, nobody would have said anything. Nobody would scream. We don't have any riots when we protest. It's like it's not in our system. It's not in the... We're not born with this resistance, I guess. TV station that is owned by the government or the state's TV station decided not to broadcast it in the same day because it was elections day and the issue is too political. They decided it was not a good news to broadcast that night.
The next winter, that is, there were every single day of the parliament at noon, there was a protest in front of the parliament. This is totally unique in Iceland. It was never in the press. It was never in the TV, neither in national TV nor the other TVs.
It was said in the papers very often, these are just artists. These are writers, actors, musicians. They are so romantic. They don't know that you need to live in a country, you need work, and you need progress. They are against progress. But it is not true. We got our information.
I think it's really interesting that when I look back and when I realize that the majority of the people that have been holding up the campaign against the hydroelectric power stations in the Central Highlands of Iceland are women.
Women have been a driving force in this struggle from the very onset. And we have been on the streets, we have been active, we have been driving a lot of things forward. There have been men with us and helping us, but the women have sort of been a motor in this struggle, and it's quite extraordinary.
I think the feminist movement has a lot to do with it, because the feminist movement has been, well, criticizing the male-dominated world, the patriarchy, for 200 years, and telling women this society we live in is not the right one.
I wonder why, and I mean there are many possible explanations for that. Maybe we feel more strongly about protecting nature, or it's a macho thing, this whole aluminium smelter and dam construction thing, and men, maybe more men identify it with it than women. According to polls, that's a fact anyway.
Probably one of the reasons why women have been really criticizing this policy, which, you know, it's so male, you know, tearing down mountains, changing rivers, you know, all these instruments, big machines, and, you know, changing, showing that it's man who rules the earth.
And one of the things that have been said against preserving these pristine highlands here in Iceland is nobody's ever been there, so we can destroy it. So the same sort of logic could apply to, oh, you know, I'm not going to care about the rainforest, I've never been there. So, and their argument is that, oh, since we're building this massive dam, now there are roads there and people can come and see what? The destruction. There are so many aluminium factories on the drawing table that even if I am reading stuff every day, I'm really trying to follow what's going on, there's always something new that's really sort of devastating every day.
On this map 2005, this is the glacial rivers that have already been used for hydroelectric power stations, and this is in progress. Here, this is the Karahnjukar dam area.
The main reservoir will be here, Hálslón Reservoir, 25 kilometers long and 180 meters deep. This river here, Jökulsá á Dal, and this river here, Jökulsá í Fljótsdal, they will be diverted from their position as now. Here they will make 3 big dams at Karahnjukar and divert this river here, where it would meet the other river. There are several dams here in tunnel, and together they will run along the hill and be put down here to the powerhouse in Fljótsdalur. It's 40 kilometers distance, and they will generate 690 megawatts of hydropower. The problem of this reservoir is that this river is the dirtiest in Iceland, even in Europe. It carries 10 million tons of sediment to the sea each year. After the river has been diverted, only 1 million will go over here, but 9 million will be in the reservoir, fall down to the bottom and fill it up. So the future is, after several 100 years, that we have, instead of this valley full of sediment ledges that are unique in the world and more nature phenomena, we have a flat sand with erosion problems. And in fact, this project will have erosion problems from the beginning, because the fluctuation of the water in the reservoir will be 50 meters each year, and it will be 10 times faster than the fastest I found in America. That means that each spring, the majority of this reservoir site is not water, but dirt that has been put there by the glacier the summer before. And that dirt will blow away and make dust storms. They are now making provisions to try to stop it, but it has never before and nowhere in the world been tried to do this on a scale like that.
We can see on this picture what is the real plan. So the government has already promised energy for heavy industry. That means that if they are going to provide this energy for this heavy industry, we will have to, no doubt, use all the glacial rivers in Iceland by 2020. And on this map, the black lines, they show the affected area around the glacial rivers. And the glacial rivers, they are like this is like the life force of the country. It's like our veins in the body. And if they are all being disconnected, the destruction is beyond our imagination.
In conclusion of my studies about 25 national parks in America and Europe and 18 dams and power plants is that reversibility is the main issue. And in Iceland, my conclusion was, my verdict is that it is not possible, there is no project possible in Iceland that has more negative, irreversible environmental impact than this.
The main reason for this is told to be works for the people in the East Fjords. And, you know, in the first place, it's not true. There is no unemployment in the East Fjords. It has been told to the people in the East, you are in great danger. And the people were not aware of this danger until the authorities came and told them, you are in great danger, but no worry, we have a rescue plan. We will build the dam. And and then people really think that they are in danger, and they stop creating ideas, and it stops them from you know, creating new things.
I really had some intense discussion with the people I was contracting for that were reading over my report and actually had to defend every single sentence of it. In the end, you know, everyone was seems to be happy with the report, and it went forward to the Landsvirkjun, the power company, to look at and then to be sent to the State Planning Agency as a draft. When I looked at the draft, I was really shocked because I noticed that they had actually deleted quite a bit of the negative parts from the report. And also they had lowered or discounted all the evaluations, or most of the evaluations within the report. And the important thing to know is that they did it without any, you know, thoughts or, you know, why they did it. And they did not get another scientist to do it. They had their lawyers to do it, what they needed to delete out of the impact assessment. I contested this really strongly, and I felt it was very dangerous to my scientific integrity if I actually would accept these changes, because they were wrong in my point of view. And also the scientists that had been working in the area actually had agreed on a report the way that I put it forward. Well, we had some very intense discussion on that, and I was, you know, talking about authorship laws and trying to pressure them to change the text back. In the end, I got the notion that that I would not get paid for my last 3 months on the project if I would not relent and give in to their demands. Well, I decided not to do that anyway, so the entire affair ended up in court.
I wanted to write about this issue from a completely different angle, just to make people understand, because I thought there were so many misunderstandings just in how a society evolves, why economies exist, what makes an economy. For example, 1945, Iceland almost became a major Cold War base, military base. Iceland, the Americans wanted to have in Iceland 5 military bases. And if they had come to Iceland, those 5 bases, all our economy would have, that would be jobs, that would be, you know, it would be called the basis of our economy. All the economic words, it would be, all the economic words would be linked to this system, you know. This would be called the foundation of our economy. And in the book, I'm looking at these words that are always telling us that our life is not, it's not us that makes the economy. We don't make the economy, we don't build up the society, but our life is some kind of a result of some industry or some system, you understand? And so if these bases would have come to Iceland, we would never have imagined the Iceland that we did make. You know, we made another Iceland. But if we had this base, Iceland, we would never have imagined the possibility of the other Iceland that we did make, and we would never have wanted this Iceland to disappear. We would never have wanted the bases to leave, because that would be called, we would lose our jobs, we would lose our houses, we would lose our healthcare system.